Evening and welcome to the JM Financial Talking Finance webinar on the futures and options segment today. Thanks a lot, Raj, for introducing me. And before starting the webinar, what a day it was to sum up. This just came as a surprise to many of the market participants. And in fact, a lot of questions are still today in the mind कि क्या हुआ आज market में? No one still has a clue as to what was exactly the news 2.5% plus move in the Nifty. सब जगह आप देखे आज हरियाली छाई हुई थी. Every sector was moving. There was an absolute strong momentum in the market, and this comes after the budget, which was left a bit of a sour taste in most of the trading mentality minds, because there was this rise of STT. There was in the futures and options segment, long-term and short-term capital gains rates went up. So really, what would be the direction ahead was the big question mark, and the next couple of days reaction was also not good in the market. But today's first day of the August series just seals, stamps and delivers where the market is heading for. So I would like to share my presentation with you before we start. The August roadmap. Well, historically, August month has been known for large positive moves. Now, this comes, we have been looking at the seasonality of the August month. And, especially if you look at August 2021, we had a 5.4% up move in the month of August. August 2022 was no different, 3.5% up move. Just the prior year, that is August 2023, there was a downside of 2.1%. But really, with such a strong start for the current month, that's 2024, really I'm gunning for that 3 to 5% range, which this month can clock very easily. So keep in mind, August is known traditionally to be a positive month. The start has been one of the most strongest start. In fact, I believe majority of the gains which we had to see has come on the first day itself on a lighter note. And if I were to sum the rollovers up a day before, that's before the day started, the rollovers were also pretty good at 70%, because a couple of days back, the rollovers were at around 48-50%. It was not good, but just a day before, on the expiry day, that's on Thursday, we did see strong rollovers of 70%. Historically, 71% is the 3-month average for the Nifty. So the conclusion is a lot of long bets did get rolled over to the August month. And today's move, if you are a data analyst, doesn't much surprise you. Yes, the positive move was in line, but yes, that move of 1.5%, that's 100 points maybe was the extra move which was the surprise element in today's trading session. Now, if you look at the open interest at the start of the August month, the last 3 months, the open interest reading was slightly on the lower side, but that was before what happened today. So clearly, today's open interest, I believe, looking at the screen, the numbers, obviously at the end of the data would happen, and we would get to know by 7:30 in the evening today as how the FIIs have been doing, what was the total open interest. But my sense is that the open interest has added in today's trading session significantly on the long side. Now, one more thing which we have to see when we look at this particular month is how the FIIs have positioned themselves. If you look at the long bets, 57% is where we start for this particular month. Last month, that's the July month, we started at 82%. So yes, from the FII desk, it's a bit of a caution. They have trimmed down their positions from 82% to 52%, which we saw last expiry. This data is as of yesterday's data. So things might change today. We will update you in our daily reports as to how the FIIs have positioned in such a roaring market of today. But really the start which was seen from the FIIs is a bit tepid. Now VIX at 12.26%. Exactly volatility index क्या होता है कि हमें बताता है कि ऑप्शंस का प्रीमियम कैसे प्राइस है. 12.26% का जो रीडिंग है, इट मींस द ऑप्शंस प्रीमियम आर प्रेटी चीप. ऑन एन एवरेज अगर आप गए 3 महीने का डेटा देखेंगे, विक्स करीबन 18% के आसपास ट्रेड हो रहा था. तो 12% is pretty low number. It means that there are more of option writers in the system. And when there are more writers, obviously it means that the stability is there. things are in control. People do not anticipate any major whipsaws or significant ups and downs for the month. So stability is back. That is the comforting factor for the August month. Moving to how the smart money is positioned. Now, what is smart money would be the question you may have in your mind. When I talk about smart money, it is the FIIs, the foreign institutional investors. Generally, we categorize four types of participants in the market when we analyze who's doing what. The four types of categories would be the clients. Clients means may आप HNI client हो सकता है, but categorized into in a retail or an HNI category. Then there is a domestic institution, the foreign institution, and the pro is the proprietary desk, which is desks which are run by the by firms. They may be brokerage firms, they may be prop desk, that is family houses. You know, people who are well off with money, they register themselves as a prop desk. That's what prop desk is all about. Now, if you look at the FIIs here, we call them smart money. The reason being that they have a good sense of the market in the terms that it is hot money. Wherever there is profit, they sense opportunities they are in. Wherever they feel that the markets are weakening, they will immediately pull out their market and put them in emerging markets. So here, if you look at the position, as I said, in the index futures, the long short ratio is 56%. 82% was the number last year. This time it is 56. So there is a bit of a back foot or a defensive approach as far as the FII long short ratio goes. Now, today's data will be very important as to how it is after a 400 plus point move in Nifty. We will keep you posted on this as to whether there have been additions or not. If there are no additions, yes, there will be a question mark. But my sense is there has been good buying in today's market. Clients. Now, clients long short ratio as of yesterday on the expiry day was 50%. That's a neutral approach. But the interesting piece of data is here in the stock future action. This actually is very interesting because if you look at the long short ratio, FIIs were longs in stocks, 58%. That's not a great number. But clients was, I think it was around 58 to 60%. Maybe I think if you look at the distribution here, you know, in the stock future segment, 214 longs to 272. So traditionally, it's normally below 50%. So my sense is clients were positioned for an up move somewhere or the other because 58-60% is a good number as per my analysis. And yes, clients were prepared that their markets are not seeing any. The markets are not in a bad shape. Stocks may rebound. That was the view which clients held. And primarily that is why, you know, we had a good sectoral move and majority of the stocks trading in green in today's market trading session. Moving on to the technical levels here. Now, this would be the key points as you approach. What is the roadmap? How do I move ahead for the month of August? These are some of the questions which always worries us, especially after such a strong up move. Market overbought hai, kya karna chahiye? Well, technically, yes, we are in a positive zone. 24,600 was the gray area. Today, it crossed in one go. There was no resistance at all. 24,850, 24,900, which is almost near the all-time high levels, which we closed, is one minor hurdle. We will see on Monday how the market opens. Any opening and sustenance in the first hour about 24,900, which is the all-time high, just opens up the doors. 65,000. And we could be in a very strong up move for August where 25,500 might be a reality happening very soon. Support to watch. 24,500, clearly the first day of the August series, day low point. 24,500, 400 I think was the low point. 500 because a lot of options positioning is seen at 24,500. So I would give importance to a level of 24,500. That's the important support. In case going ahead, the market were to get below 24,500, that is the first level of caution or the red flag which should be on your mind. Obviously, entire story changes if we break below. Right now, keep levels of 24,500 in mind. The view is positive. 24,900 is a 900 is a minor hurdle. Beyond that, 25,500 is where we are heading for. Key moving averages, this is what most of the traders look forward to. 20-day is one moving average which you should keenly follow here, because 24,338, that's pretty far from the supports which I have defined. But that's one important short-term moving average which you can consider in case we dip there, or these moving averages will keep on changing as we head further into the August month. So keep yourself updated on these numbers: 20-day, 50-day, and 100-day. These are the moving average I keenly follow. 20-day would help you if you are a monthly trader. Now, how is the options market? अब options market का प्रीमियम प्राइसिंग देखेंगे. नॉर्मली हम क्या करते हैं कि जहां आज क्लोज हुआ है 24,000 शायद 850 के आसपास क्लोज हुए आज, तो 24,900 का कॉल का प्रीमियम प्लस पुट का प्रीमियम, इन दोनों को आप जोड़ेंगे तो एक अंदाजा आ जाता है कि जो ट्रेडर्स है आज कितना एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे हैं कि पूरे मंथ में निफ्टी वुड मूव ऑन द डाउन साइड और द अपसाइड. बिकॉज ऑप्शंस मार्केट इज ऑल अबाउट राइटिंग. The big HNI traders write options because they feel that there is a very high probability of making money in writing options. They have their portfolios backed up from where they use their margins. And if you look at it, options premiums today at the 24,900 strike, easily the range which the monthly 29th August expiry is hinting for is the support of 24,000 and the upside of 25,600. So if you are an option writer, right, you should be writing 24,000 put and 25,600 or any calls about 25,600. So these are the strikes you can consider if you are a monthly trader. This is the broader range which the market has built up now, going by the current data readings. OIPCR at 1.40. What does OIPCR means? अगर आप टोटल ओपन इंटरेस्ट पुट्स का, ओपन इंटरेस्ट मींस जितने पोजीशन आज के दिन पुट्स में ओपन है ऑप्शंस में, ये मंथली एक्सपायरी की मैं बात कर रहा हूं, और जो कॉल्स के है, अगर आप डिवाइड करेंगे पुट्स OI, वो आपका रहेगा न्यूमरेटर में, डिनोमिनेटर में कॉल्स रहेगा, तो आपको एक रेशियो मिल रहा है 1.4 का. इसका मतलब है पुट्स का जो पल्ला है वो काफी भारी है. There are significant puts in the system. Puts in the system means I am assuming them to be writing, because the smart money is writing puts today. VIX is low. No one is buying much here. The aggressor or the smart money here is writing puts. And majorly, if you look at the strikes which are been written, it is the 24,000 strike and 24,500 strike. So these are the strikes where the supports are being slowly built. 24%, 24,000 obviously is a very safe strike to write. Those are been written by people who would have luxury to wait for the entire expiry maybe. 24,500 is taken by short-term trading community. They are trying to define the new support base at 24,500. That is the reason why a lot of put writing, you can say options in inputs at 24,500 is the flavor in the current situation. Where are the call writing bets situated? Obviously, with such a strong up move, there is a good chance that today a lot of call writers were massacred. People who had set themselves up for weekly options since last 3-4 days. This move today came as a surprise to them. And a lot of call writing bets were covered, which fueled this entire rally today. This mainly happened the weekly expiry, but I'm today concentrating on the monthly expiry. So the shift is clear that call writers जो है वो 25,000 भी नहीं, 25,500, 25,500 काफी दूर है यहाँ से, ऑलमोस्ट 600-700 पॉइंट दूर है, वहां पे they are writing their bets. So the market is still pricing or keeping a gap of 500 to 600 points room for upside going from the current level. So keep that in mind, that the view is bullish unless and until some news hits the market on the weekend or in the coming days. The view for the market will continue to be positive. Now, as a trader, there should be some key events always on your mind which you should note for. Whenever you draw a roadmap, all your plan A, plan B, plan C should be ready. Now, 31st is your first date on a calendar which you should be noting. That's the US FOMC policy date. There's where something may happen. The market is sensing a rate cut, and that is the reason why the market is preparing itself for that event. So my sense is somewhere or the other, today's move has to do with the first point, that is US FOMC policy meet due on 31st of July. Rate cut price कर रहा है market, शायद उसके चलते move होना start हुआ है. दूसरा है RBI policy on 8th of August. Banking will be in focus. So expect banks to start showing momentum, showing some signs of an upside bump, because they have been pretty beaten down. This will start from the first week of August. RBI policy is due on 8th of August. F&O trading regulations. Now, this is one of the most important points which every futures and options trader need to keep in mind. अभी आप देखिए गए एक दो मंथ में काफी टाइम सेबी चीफ ने एक खतरे की घंटी बजाई है दैट लॉट ऑफ स्पेकुलेशन इज ऑन इन फ्यूचर्स एंड ऑप्शंस एंड सम स्ट्रिक्ट मेजर माइट बी इन प्लेस. अभी तक nothing has happened, thankfully, but keep in mind something may be on soon. Some measure may be on soon. I'm not creating that fear in the market, but you should be prepared. Something if suddenly comes on the weekend about some regulations on the weekly expiries, some extra margin requirements. A lot of case studies or cases have been presented to the SEBI, and basis on all of these information, there is strong gray point in the market that something may be on very soon. So nothing is confirmed as of now, but F&O trading regulations in terms of the weekly expiries, because that's what in the limelight right now. SEBI is not really happy about the kind of huge volatility which is happening in the option space. So there might be some temporary roadblocks there in terms of margining or so. So, as a trader, you should not position yourself 100% to your limit at full go, because any such overnight news can be damaging to your position. रिमेनिंग FY 25 रिजल्ट्स, आईटी के रिजल्ट्स हो चुके हैं, बैंक्स के आना चालू हुए, कुछ दिग्गज कंपनियों के रिजल्ट जल्दी मिल जाएंगे. तो फॉलो द रिजल्ट्स. रिजल्ट सीजन में नॉर्मली whenever there is a day when Nifty 50 weighted stocks would have their result day, there can be some move on the screen. So keep yourselves posted on which company is posting the result on which day. Obviously we are there, but as a trader you need to have this on your mind. Global macros keep on changing. US elections nazdeek aa rahe. Some or the other global tensions are always on, especially in the Middle East. So these are things which are beyond our control, obviously, but they have significant weightage as we proceed into the August month. Now, based on the rollovers, completely based on the rollovers data, majority of the move already has happened today. तो मैंने एक्चुअली कल आपके प्रेजेंटेशन के लिए कुछ स्टॉक शॉर्टलिस्ट किए थे, कुछ मैंने सेक्टर्स भी शॉर्टलिस्ट किए थे, बट अनफॉर्चुनेटली आज 1.5-2% के बहुत सारे जो मूव हो चुके हैं, really now running or chasing those sectors really doesn't make sense. So entirely I had to redo my presentation, and these are the 4 sectors which have come up based on the numbers. जहां पे आज बड़ा मूव हुआ नहीं है, पर पोटेंशियल काफी अच्छा है. ये 4 सेक्टर्स आप अपने ध्यान में रखिए. पहला है PSE सेक्टर. व्हाट इज PSE? इज पब्लिक सेक्टर एंटरप्राइजेस. दैट्स the government owned companies here. These are the sectors like BHEL or GAIL or ONGC. These are some of the names which can do well. Unfortunately, the budget didn't have any promises or major softs for them. That's the reason why they have become a bit offbeat lately. But I believe there is still good room in these stocks to move forward. So for August, keep a watch on the Nifty PSE as a sector. Nifty Metals, this sector has been beaten down. Last couple of days, a good recovery, especially today was a good recovery. What my sense is that most of the metals stocks are in the process of forming a base. They will take some time, but once the base is clear, the momentum will kick off. You have to be present in the time when the base is being created. Don't try to chase momentum. You'll always go wrong there. So metals stocks to watch here will be Jindal Steel and Power, Vedanta and Hindalco. These will be my top 3 bets in the Nifty metal space. Keep a watch for the metals pack going ahead in the August month. FMCG, the most favored the sector on the budget day. What a spectacular move FMCG sector had, led by ITC. Now here clearly there are a lot of stocks where long positioning has shifted in derivatives to the August. CTC, Marico, Dabur, these would be my favorite names in the FMCG pack. Track this. There will be good upsides even from the current levels. FMCG is also a defensive bet in the current nature of the market. So if any choppiness is there to hit the market, these sectors should do well. Oil and gas. Oil and gas has seen a surprise move in yesterday's trade. BPCL, IOC, HPCL were some of the top gainers. And even we had a technical basket which is released yesterday for our investors and traders. And it's doing fantastic in just a couple of days. So have these names on mind. Follow the technical basket. We have a buy call already recommended in this pack. So oil and gas is the way to go. So these 4 sectors are my top favorite considering the current condition of the market. Obviously, it doesn't mean the other sectors are not good, but I'm trying to pick the sectors which have not yet moved. Pharma is another evergreen sector. It is doing well. Then reality, telecom, and cement. These would be my other top preferred sectors for the August month. So that's the broader update I had. I want to keep it small. Don't want to take much of your time, but I have tried to cover the roadmap. Nifty. Just to conclude, I'm looking for targets of 24,900, a minor hurdle, but after that, it opens the doors easily for 25,500. A positive view continues unless and until any bad news in terms of I see for the month of August, in case it does hit the market. That's the only risk you have. Besides, leaving aside that factor, easily the doors are open for 25,500. Things are good till we are about 24,500. So keep that level in mind. Till then, have your trades on the buy side. Stocks and sectors to choose. I have given you four of the best sectors which I look forward to. Stocks I have named for you. So I wish you all the best for the August month. Happy trading from GM Financial. Let's open the session for the Q&A.
When is it a good time to start intraday trading? As I've heard, and how can
Trading.
GM
Look,
Financial
yes.
Services
See, yes. Look, intraday trading, when there is always a good time today, tomorrow, after 10 years, you can't choose your time because as an intraday trader, you are trading the daily time frame. Yes, you start at 9:15 and you're out of the market by 3:30, and you are not there to chase the entire 4-5% in the market. You are a scalper, you are a swing trader, you are a short-term trader, an early trader. So you need to have your time zones very clearly defined in the market. There are some specific setups which you should look forward to. We can have a detailed session for this, but my whole sense is as an intraday trader, risk management and booking out quick profits and churning is what the key essence of intraday trading. Especially look for patterns where prior day the stock has been confined in a very tight trading range for last 2 to 3 days. So there is a good chance that the stock may see a breakout. Try to target those stocks which there are to be a contra trader. These are some of the advice I would give for intraday traders. We can have always a detailed session on this going ahead for our viewers.
On to question two. Can consistent money be made by option writing? How can I get the knowledge and training for analyzing option chain and PCR?
Well, look, we have already organized a lot of webinars for you. We will organize more for you in future. But the whole thought here, when you look at options, is you need to see where the highest positioning is in the option space. You need to see the total open interest positioning in puts and the total open interest positioning in calls. So you get two long vertical bars if I were to plot this or as per the strikes. So the highest open interest in puts is a support. That's the assumption is there are writers at that strike, and the highest open interest positioning in calls is the resistance point. So if you are an options trader, that's the zone which you're trading with. The trade actually matures when you hit either side of the zone. So if you're hitting the put side of the zone, that's the support point. That's the point where you target to buy the stock. You have to obviously monitor the open interest at that point of time. If it hits the upper end of the band, it's a point where you book out your profits. You need to check the open interest, how it plays out at that point of time. Point one. Second, OIPCR, yes, it is, as I mentioned, it is total open interest of puts divided by calls. If the quantum of puts increase in the system, it means there are more put writers. Okay. But there is a point when their excess of puts in the system is taken as a contra bet. So normally when the PCR for stocks, I'm speaking specifically for stocks, exceeds 1.8 or 2, that's puts are almost double the quantum of calls. That is the time when the stock is heavily oversold. Contrary, if the PCR is, let's say, 0.5 for stocks, this is not for the index. It means there are a lot of calls in the system. There are a lot of writers piling up. The stock is heavily oversold. That's the point when you should be looking to buy stocks. So at PCR at 0.5, you look to buy stocks. PCR at 1.8 or 2, you look to sell stocks. That's the logic normally which we work with. Obviously, the standard rule doesn't apply for the universal futures and options. Each stock has its own reading, but somewhere just to draw a line, this is the parameter we work with.
Thank you, Akshay. On to the next question. Can you elaborate on rollover concepts and how can I identify a suitable sector for investment for the next month?
Yeah, look, rollovers is how the positioning has been from the current month to the next month. Now, when does this rollover starts? Rollover actually starts to happen in the last 4 to 5 days before expiry, because you are 1 day. Ideally, the entire rollover process picks up from the last for the July expiry. Prior 4 days was from Monday was the time when the roll process started. Now to check the rollover data, it is not just the July series you check. You need to have minimum 6 months data of rollovers with you. You need to monitor on and off as to how different stocks, the percentage of how the rollovers is happening, and obviously you have to correlate the price with the rollovers. Any major deviation in rollovers, let's say for example, if Nifty today rollovers is 70%, right? If this rollovers instead of 70% would be something like 50%, obviously it means that on an average, if the prices were doing good in the last 3 months, rollovers on an average were 70%, and suddenly this month the rollovers were 50%, it is a red flag sign for me that long positions are not being rolled over to the next month, right? So these are the deviations you should be constantly observing. I just give you an example of Nifty, but from a derivatives, as a derivatives analyst, we take the trouble for monitoring you almost 180 stocks, which we keep a database for the last 5 to 6 years, and day in day out we are monitoring the open interest. So be rest assured that all these data points and analytics are taken care of, and the final output is shared with you.
On to the next question. What is a good risk reward ratio in derivatives?
Well, see, derivatives is a leverage market. आप 100 रुपए लगाते हो और आप ट्रेड कर रहे हो कम से कम 300 रुपए के मार्केट में. 25% के is the money, is the leverage, is the money you pay. Roughly 4x 3x is the leverage you get. Leverage market है, तो आपको चर्निंग करने की बहुत जरूरत है. पर रिस्क रिवॉर्ड की बात आती है तो ऑलवेज एज अ स्टैंडर्ड रूल, आई थिंक अगर आप 1 रुपए लूज कर रहे हो तो मिनिमम आपका, अगर 1 रुपए का रिस्क ले रहे हो कोई भी ट्रेड में, तो आपका रिवॉर्ड 1. अगर आप 1:1 रिस्क रिवॉर्ड में खेल रहे हो तो आपका पूरा जो जर्नी रहेगा ट्रेडिंग का, इट इज गोइंग टू बी अ लॉस मेकिंग जर्नी. सो नो, ऑलवेज अगर आप 1 रुपए का रिस्क ले रहे हैं, योर रिवॉर्ड्स शुड बी 1.7. दैट रिवॉर्ड्स मींस यू डू नॉट, अगर आपके इफ द स्टॉक ट्रेड इज गोइंग इन योर वे, डू नॉट प्रीमेचुरली बुक प्रॉफिट. Do your studies in advance, do a strong study, do not be carried about what's happening in the market, do not be greedy enough, or be impatient to book your profits. Have that rule, because rule based trading will always take you to great heights. So one risk, 1.5, 1.7 to 2 reward is the risk reward you should be working with in the derivatives market.
How should one start trading in the derivatives market if he is a novice, and what is the basic capital required?
Look, I think if you are a newbie, नया स्टार्ट कर रहे हो आप डेरिवेटिव्स में, मैं कहूंगा फ्यूचर्स मत कीजिए. फ्यूचर्स में मार्जिनिंग का रिक्वायरमेंट बहुत ज्यादा है, और आप कॉन्ट्रैक्ट सीधा 6 लाख के ऊपर का ट्रेड करेंगे, जहां पे आप मिनिमम विल हैव टू इन्वेस्ट एटलीस्ट, वी शुड हैव 1 लाख इन योर अकाउंट, राइट? इफ यू अंडरस्टैंड फ्यूचर्स, यू आर नॉट बॉदर्ड बाय plus minus 10,000, 20,000 within few hours or minutes, within day, M2M, mark to market movement, then it is your cup of tea. नहीं तो आप ऑप्शंस का रूट यूज कीजिए. ऑप्शंस इज अ वेरी good way for novice or newbies to start in the derivatives market, because as an option buyer, मैं specifically बोल रहा हूँ options buy होना जरूरी है. तेजी का व्यू है तो call buy, मंदी का व्यू है तो put buy. Here your capital is protected just to the premium you buy. It's very simple. So if you have a positive at the money or OTM, that depends on how your expectation is of the price move. But use the options market, because risk management is what derivatives is all about. So for risk management, for you to have your the risk in place, or if in case your view goes wrong from the point you buy, instead of having those sleepless nights, since you are a newbie, understand the product, go for options buying. Here your risk is totally in your control and rewards can be unlimited. That's the best way to start for a newbie in the derivatives market, buying options.
How to analyze options data for stocks, and improve our targets and stop loss?
Well, I said, look where the highest open interest is in puts, where the highest open interest in calls. You get a range for the Nifty. Your trade signal is when you hit the support, that's the put level. Try to buy there. Your stop losses should be dependent on how the open interest is playing out at the support point. And conversely, the same logic applies for the resistance point. But it is not just open interest analysis. You need to have some fair share of technical analysis to join with your derivative analytics, because timing is what derivatives is all about. And so, there are two studies, technicals, derivatives. Both do not work solo. Fundamentals is a different subject altogether. Technicals is all about timing the market, timing the prices. Derivatives especially tells you how the positioning is, whether ज़्यादा long positions है, ज़्यादा short positions है, अगर short covering हो रहा है जहाँ पे जो जिन्होंने sell किया है वो गलत पड़ रहा है. So मार्केट का पोजीशनिंग पहले जानना जरूरी है. अगर पोजीशनिंग तेजी की तरफ है, यू आर श्योर अबाउट दैट मार्केट पोजीशन तेजी की तरफ है, देन यू स्टार्ट टू टाइम technical. So technical knowledge is a must if you are trading derivatives. You need to sharpen your basic skills. We always have your webinar sessions for that. Do attend them. It will be helpful for you.
Okay, thank you, Akshay. We'll take up a few more questions sent in the chat box. How do you determine support and resistance levels as when it doesn't
we
work for
discussed
me,
this. So
whereas
on
your
the
levels
options
are on
yeah.
point?
So it's the same which we discussed in the option space. If you are using technicals and you don't understand much of technicals, then go for simple moving averages. Whenever the prices touch the moving average, that's your support. When it hits the upper end of the moving average, that's your resistance. 20-day moving average for short-term trading, 50-day moving average for 200-day for long-term trading. This is the normally what the market looks forward to.
Okay, on to the next question. What basic knowledge should one have to start derivatives trading?
Understand the product first. If it's futures, you have to see your risks. Derivatives, again, I say, is all about risk management. So because it's a leverage product. So the basic knowledge is about this. If you have your doubts, please write the NISM exam. It is not only for research analysts. It is good enough a way to understand the derivatives product as such. You can get a lot of information there. Read books. There are good books which are available. You can always connect with me for names of the books and the authors. It's understanding the product of options if you want to play it with lower leverage, lesser risks. So understanding the product is the key.
Thank you, Akshay.
Investment in securities market are subject to market risks. Read all the related documents carefully before investing.